Good evening, my name's Alex Campbell and you're watching Examining the Expanse. So we open with the new acting Secretary General asking Avasarala to be in his cabinet. And even though Avasarala's in this state of emotional disarray due to Arjun's absence, of course she's going to do everything she can to help Earth. That's exactly what is at the core of her character. And I just wanted to point out this little moment, Shorin, the actress who plays Avasarala, she puts her necklace back on and it's just this little mundane, everyday moment. But the way she's able to make this moment so emotionally devastating and charged with all these complex emotions flooding through this character was just a great example of acting without dialogue. I have to admit, Monica's re-emergence in this season has made me warm to her character. She is somewhat likable once you get past that cold exterior, and justification to Bull for why she should stay on the Roci was absolutely priceless. Yeah, I've been in high G maneuvers on this ship when we were the first person to go through the fucking ring and survive.
You ever been in high G maneuvers before?
Mm-hmm. On this ship. When we were the first people to go through the ring and survive.
BAM! The action sequence with Alex and Bobbie was nothing but awesome. It's always amazing to watch Bobbie destroy people, and Alex jumping through the void of space, trying to reach the Razorback, had me on the edge of my seat. Even though the narrative here, in comparison to the book, is far less complex and far less important. Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with action sequences executed this well. Suck on that, motherfuckers. Tee!
We did it! Suck on that, motherfuckers!
Naomi's presence is now causing this emotional drama within the Free Navy to bubble up. Sin standing up to Marco and winning this little argument was really incredible, and it just opened Philip's eyes to this different side of his father he hadn't really seen before. He's not impervious to criticism and he doesn't always command every situation. And then this little crack opening up in Philip just escalated to the next level when Naomi told him something he obviously already knew, that Marco would in a heartbeat let Philip sacrifice himself for Marco, but Marco would never sacrifice himself for Philip. It really obviously hit home for the kid and just made him open his eyes to the kind of view that Naomi holds of his father. Not this leader of men, but this mass murdering, egomaniacal maniac.
He loves me.
He loves himself.
But you don't know anything about me.
I know he wouldn't die for you, but he would let you die for him.
We then get this big, huge, sweeping landscape shot of the devastation within Earth, and we're starting to see this cascade of the environmental impact of the asteroids. We're getting these ash clouds covering up the sun, making the temperature drop, and soon the agriculture's all going to start to die, and once the food's all gone, people are going to panic even further, and the water's going to shut down, and this devastating incident is just going to lead to further, more devastating incidents. And I just really like how these locations contrast all the other science fiction sets of The Expanse. We have all these like high concept sci-fi storylines playing out, and then Amos and Peaches is this like survival, primal, naturalistic narrative playing out, and it really feels so different and away from all the other storylines. It's just so unique and immersive. It's also super ironic and humorous how Amos throughout a lot of these sequences is wearing a UN flag as a cape. As a character, he doesn't really embody the values of the UN whatsoever. These two broken characters ambling through this wasteland, talking about their psyches and their motivations and their past, and the way Amos is just taking Peaches under his wing and just caring for her is so cute, and I'm genuinely emotionally invested in these characters and can't wait to see how their journey plays out, eh? There's so many shows where there's just characters and they're just doing things and you're just kind of watching it, but you're not really watching it. But here I'm actually really invested in this relationship and these complex ideas that they're discussing about where they land within the moral landscape of the world and the human condition, and talking about their past and all the things they've done. It's so great. The actors are so good and the script is so well written and the dialogue is so compelling and real.
There are ways that you can live a good life without being a good person.
I like that.
No.
Marco and Drummer's conversation here in this episode was so good. Drummer has so much fucking sass and Marco is so charismatic. And I just want to talk about Cara G for a little bit as well. On the after show Expanse little podcast thing with Ty Frank and Wes Chapman, they talked about Cara G as an actress, and it reminded me of this character from The Sopranos, Adriana. She's basically in the first episode as an actress. She's just an extra who gets a couple of lines. And because the creator of the show worked so closely with the filming of it, he saw her and he really enjoyed her, and she became a massive part of the show moving forward. Adriana was, one of the main characters. And this all happened, from this actress being a waitress in this one scene where she was basically an extra. And the same thing happened with Cara G. I didn't realize that. But in season 2, they hired her, so when Fred Johnson spilled exposition, there'd be a character there for him to talk to. So they hired her for this role, and over the years, because Cara G's performance was so good and she was so compelling and likable and charismatic, they just kept on getting all these other characters from the book, like Bull and all these other characters, and cramming it into her character. Drummer does rock up in book 5, but I mean, she's barely there and she's nothing like the drummer on the television show. And it's so interesting, the idea that an actor, if they do an amazing job, can inspire the writers to push their character in a new direction and give them so much more screen time. And you think about Drummer now and this complex character she is and all the things she's done and all the things she's gonna do, and it's just amazing to think it's all because of Cara G and because of how great she is. Damn, she is great.
Mill throne?
This is a war room.
For a war you started.
For a war I won.
Is it over? I must have missed the inner's offer of surrender.
I knew there was a reason I liked you.
So Marco's attack on the inner planets was effective. Now he seems to be rallying all these different factions of the belt together, so he's massing this effective force to fight against the inners. But his plans when it comes to food don't seem very well thought out, eh? He's basically just like, there's gonna be some hungry years. It's gonna be like a decade of hungry years for the belt. And then after that, we're gonna build infrastructure somewhere that will enable us to be an agricultural hub to feed the belt. Yeah, but remember Ganymede? Remember the breadbasket of the solar system? It just got fucking destroyed, eh? You can build all this immensely impressive infrastructure to feed the belt, but someone can just come along with a ship and blow it all to fucking high hell, eh? So him throwing rocks at the only habitable planet in the solar system and the main source of agriculture for all these people does seem a little bit undeveloped as an idea now when the details start being examined.
There will be thin years at first, but within a decade, the belt will have the agricultural production levels of Earth and surpass it.
Just when I thought season 5 of The Expanse couldn't get any better, we get a strip scene with Amos. Oh yeah. Oh, but in all seriousness, this isn't an original idea. I did hear this somewhere, I forget where, on some random YouTube video. But when I was a kid, I really liked that old X-Men cartoon, and I really enjoyed the comics. And then when the live action films came out, as a kid, I think I was about 10 when the first one came out, I really loved them. And I know objectively now that at least half of those films are absolute garbage. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is one of those iconic characters from our childhood that I just absolutely love. And now that all those films are done and dusted and the Marvel Cinematic Universe has brought the X-Men intellectual property, and the idea of the X-Men being rebooted has always been floating around. I've always been completely opposed to the recasting of Wolverine. Same with Indiana Jones and Luke Skywalker and a bunch of other characters. But Wes Chapman absolutely has the physique to play Wolverine. I mean, the guy's body is crazy. And he also has this fucking intensity as an actor where the violence and the mayhem and this incredible violence and intensity. You believe every second of it. So if the Marvel Cinematic Universe does reboot X-Men and they recast Wes Chatham as Wolverine, I'm completely on board, 100%. Anyone else gets cast, I'm going to be horribly disappointed, eh? I know you're watching this, Kevin Feige. You need to cast Wes Chatham as Wolverine. He'll do a fucking amazing job. And the guy deserves to be an A-list fucking celebrity on all these big budget movies, eh? I mean, I know he's getting a lot better work here on these 10-hour shows with a lot more like emotional depth and moments to explore his character, but I mean, the guy's a brilliant actor and he deserves to just get role after role after The Expanse finishes. The only real criticism I have of this episode is Clarissa attacking the prepper guy. In the book, it goes into the details of how she, every attack they explain, they go into the details of like, she ducks under the arm and she goes up with a blow and cracks the guy's jaw. And I know her speed at which she moves, it'd be hard to execute on camera. And I don't know how they would do it effectively, but the way they did do it, just kind of a shaky lens and like the blur effect, it just kind of seemed a little bit lazy to me. I mean, it was fine, innit? It conveyed the emotion and it conveyed the actions of what was happening, so you understood what's happening. I just thought, yeah, they could have tried a little bit harder. Maybe they did and it didn't work. Then I was like, I don't know. Maybe we just move the camera around and put a shaky effect on it. There's this great moment which really resonated with me. A member of Drummer's family, they're all discussing what they're going to do, if they're going to join the Free Navy or if they're going to be in opposition to it, and he's like, there is no choice. Marco's pretending that we have a choice, but none of us have a choice, and he's absolutely right. And I love this idea of these people being forced into a war just because they have no other options, and this happens in real life all the time. If you lived in Soviet Russia during World War II under Stalin, you had no choice. You couldn't be in opposition to communism. You couldn't speak out. You just instantly get hung. So everyone just shut their mouth and did what they were ordered to do and just hoped to God that they weren't sent to the gulag. And they're in the exact same situation as this now. They have to pretend that they're part of the Free Navy and then try to infiltrate it and from the inside do something to affect it. Because if they just say, yeah, fuck you, Marco, he's gonna fucking kill them. He's rallied half of the OPA at this point. And also there was this moment where Philip let slip to Drummer that Marco has Naomi, and it seemed weird to me. I know that Philip is like supposed to be 16 and naive, and he was presented as this competent youth who's been indoctrinated into this extreme ideology, and now he's starting to break away at that and he's becoming more vulnerable and open to new ideas. But I just thought that he was smarter than that, and the way he let it slip seemed rather dumb. And then Marco didn't address it at all, so I don't know whether I'm reading too much into this, but maybe this is all part of some kind of a plan where Marco's aware that Philip is gonna be somewhat sympathetic towards Naomi. He's later watching them on a monitor, watching them have a conversation, and then he just like dismisses it. I know he's got a lot on his plate. He's looking at intercepting the Rocinante, which is gonna be amazing. But yeah, it just seemed like Marco should have maybe spaced Naomi, and he should have, yeah, just dressed Philip down for letting it slip that they have Naomi. It seemed like such a dumb thing to do, and then for it to not be addressed, and for Marco just to be letting Naomi chip away at his son right in front of him. It seemed a bit weird to me, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Is there anything you'd like me to tell your mother?
There's no need. I can't tell. No. Thank you.
Good to see you. As always, Chama.
When Clarissa recited her little poem, I have killed, but I'm not a killer, because killers are monsters, and monsters are never afraid. Oh my god, I felt so bad for Amos. Just like a stab to the heart. Obviously she was unaware of how horrible this would sound to him, but yeah, she's just like, basically, you're a fucking monster. And I was like, oh, poor Amos. And then yeah, when she starts breaking down the morality of what they've just done, which Amos is completely unaware of, he's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it was really interesting. And then yeah, Amos becomes overtly aware that he needs his moral compass of Holden and Naomi back. And it got me thinking about what would happen, because Amos, he basically goes along life and he grabs onto these people and he uses them as a moral compass. And it'd be interesting to see what would happen if he did that to Clarissa, because she does seem very self-aware and analytical now. She's evaluating her past actions and she's evaluating what they're doing now, and she feels remorse for her actions. But she's had these prolonged moments of mayhem and mania where she's just gone on epic revenge schemes and killed multiple people. And it'd be interesting to see what would happen if Amos grabbed onto her as a moral compass. I'm sure eventually it'd spiral into complete chaos, but yeah, for the moment, watching these two characters talk about all these interesting ideas, it's so well written and so in depth. These characters are so complex and there's so much going on with their psyche. You can like evaluate their mind frames and their perceptions and the way they're analyzing their actions and trying to change is just so well written. I mean, it's everything I want from an amazing television show, eh?
We went out of our way to murder someone and take his stuff just because we needed it. It's not the kind of thing good people do. Not even bad people trying to live like good ones.
In conclusion, this episode is further expanding on this ever-evolving landscape of Marco's Free Navy trying to consolidate power, and then eventually it going head-to-head with Inner Planets. I'm loving how politically complex the situation is with drama and all the different factions of the OPA. Nothing's cut and clean in The Expanse. It's not like Star Wars where it's like Luke Skywalker is good and Darth Vader is evil. Yeah, all these emotional beats going on within the Free Navy and their disagreement of how they should treat Naomi. Then you have all the different factions of the OPA who are joining out of fear, and then Holden in the equation who's going to come and butt heads or die brutally. And then yeah, Clarissa and Amos, I've said it once, but I'll say it again, the way their characters are so in-depth in their psyche and what they're discussing and their developing relationship, and they're so cute together, and yeah, I'm generally emotionally involved in them, and I just love hearing them talk. It's so in-depth, you know, these aren't two-dimensional characters. These characters have, like, yeah, complex psyches, which the writers are well aware of, and then they make the characters well aware of it, and then within the show the characters discuss their psyches and try to evaluate where they are in the human condition and try to better themselves and try to understand what and who they are. And it's fucking great. It's great writing. It's great writing, and it looks beautiful. I know that you watch, 50 episodes of The Expanse and you stop kind of seeing the cinematography, but I mean that fight scene with Bobbie and Alex, all the wire work, all the CGI, all the live action sets, it just looks immensely beautiful. Alright, thank you all for watching. Really about like, subscribe in the comments. Tell me I got all the facts wrong and my opinion is null and void. Thank you and good night.